A lot of people might not know, but he proposed to you while he was in jail.
I talk about this in the book when I go to see him in Rikers, when I wrote about that in the book and when I had to.
Welcome to VIBECITY, your home of latest entertaining videos, news, gist, and more hot updates.
Pac's final year, obviously goes to prison, gets involved with Suge. And you had a kind of inclination from the jump, just the vibe wasn't right with that situation. And as who you are, and like you said, you guys could say anything to each other. How was those conversations between you guys? And I heard he kind of tried to keep you away from it while he was in it. Speak to that a little.
Well, Pac, and I talk about this a lot in the book, Pac really, he really kept me separate from all of it from the gate. I think people will be surprised to know I never saw Tupac perform live.
Wow.
He never. The thing about Pac, stuff was always jumping off. It was always popping. So Pac was cool with, I'm coming to your spot, you can meet me at my spot over here, but it wasn't any like, we're going, come to the club with me, go to the, that was a no-no. Because he was always like, nah, because I can't.
Watch you, I gotta worry about
he's like, I can't do both.
Gotta worry about myself now.
You know what I mean? He's like, no. Yeah. So, yeah, I was really concerned about shit. I was really concerned. Now, mind you, he was still in jail when he told me. I remember we were in Dannemora. I talk about it in the book. And I was with Light and Nefertiti. We went up there to see Pac in Dannemora. And he said that he was going to sign with Suge. And I remember saying, you know, all three of us were just kind of like, okay, you sure? You know, and he's like, yeah, because he's willing to get me out of here. And, you know, because Pac had been waiting. Because of the nature of his charges, he refused to. He was like, these men need to come get me. Specifically, these men who are making money off of me. That was his thing. Because a bunch of us had just kind of, you know, we flanked him. We were like, we'll get you out of here. We'll raise the money, you know, because it was a bunch of us kind of starlets. He knew a lot of starlets, you know, and we were like, we're here. We'll get you out.
Yeah, his back.
And he was like, no. He was like, no. And so with Suge, he felt like, look, this is, I owe him 3 albums and I'm done. And I was like, so I said, I'm going to come back tomorrow. So Neff and Light, they left and I drove back to Dannemora the next day to just talk to him one-on-one. And I knew I wasn't going to be able to, that wasn't my place to try to convince him. I mean, he was locked up, he wanted out. So I knew I wasn't going to win that battle, but it was once he got out and everything that transpired after that, that I was just like, hey, you don't have to be of this. Don't let people prey on your resentment and your anger. So
a lot of people might not know, but he proposed to you while he was in jail.
I talk about this in the book when I go to see him in Rikers, when I wrote about that in the book and when I had to talk about it, speak my words for the audible version of the book. That was probably one of the more painful parts, seeing him there, the condition that he was in and having to leave him there. And he was in bad shape. And so when he asked me to get married, he was at Rikers. And I knew at that time that he needed somebody to do time with him. which I was going to do anyway. You didn't have to marry me to do that. Right? I'm here.
I see why we love you.
And then to, like, he needed a rock. He needed, because of our friendship and because of everything we had been through together, he just wanted to feel that solidified foundation, you know. Because I promise you, he would have married me and divorced me as soon as his ass left jail. He would have.
Right.
I'd be real with it.
Right. Because so many people in that position don't have support.
Right.
None at all.
None. You know?
He got the best.
Right. He was just like, look. And I just think it was the mind state that he was in. You know? He wrote me this long letter. And I think even before Pac went to jail, he was starting to shift in a certain manner.
Good or bad?
Good. Really good. And I think that for him, he just felt like, okay, if I can tether myself, it'll keep me on a trajectory. But trust me, he would have divorced me as soon as one thing he didn't want me as is a wife. Mm-hmm. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
You know, but I think just being at Rikers, it just kind of shook him a bit.
Needed something. You and Pac weren't on speaking terms the last year of his life. Can you tell us why and what that taught you?
Yeah. So when I was talking about how we could pull each other's coattails, I just felt like he was off track a little bit, you know, and I spoke on that, and we got into a heated, probably one of the most heated arguments we've ever had. And that was not, Pac and I getting into heated confrontations was not unusual, right? This happened to be a very heated one. And I didn't speak to him for a year. I was hurt. I was pissed. And I really kind of dug my heels in the ground. I was just like, he went too far and he's going to have to call me. Bone that. He's going to have to call me, and I'm standing my ground on it, you know? And I learned that don't waste time like that. You know, it's like a whole year out of my, you know, pride. You know what I'm saying? It's just pride, both of us, very prideful. Very prideful, just hard-headed, prideful, you know? And because none of it mattered. The day that when Afeni called me, you know, when I found out he'd been shot again, I didn't give, like, and that whole conversation and whatever was going on with Suge and all that, it didn't matter. So why should it have mattered for a whole year? It didn't matter. And surely once he was gone, you know? So I just learned, like, man, don't hold on to bullshit.
Ain't worth it.
It's not worth it, because you just never know.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, VIBECITY.